सवितुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ महागणपतये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। Freedom. Moksha literally means freedom. Everyone in the world wants freedom. Everyone in the world seeks freedom. That is why freedom is a purushartha. Purushartha means what we seek. If we seek anything, it is purushartha. Purushaihi archyate iti purushartha. That which is sought after by human beings is called purushartha. Since everyone in the world seeks freedom, freedom is a purushartha. Perhaps nobody in the world will say, I don't want freedom. That is why there was a freedom movement. We fought and got freedom. Freedom for the whole country. And the same is true at the individual level also. Even at the individual level, we are the seekers of freedom. We seek freedom. And one more thing can be observed regarding freedom. We seek freedom above anything else. Even at the cost of other things, we seek freedom. Supposing someone is told, you are given all comforts, all pleasures under one condition: you should not go outside your house. Perhaps that is what lockdown was. All comforts were given, but you can't move out of your house. No freedom. Freedom is curtailed. It is not acceptable to us. We are ready to forego our comforts and pleasure for freedom. Comforts and pleasure without freedom is like being in a golden cage. Therefore, we choose freedom above other things. Freedom is much more preferable than anything else. That is why freedom is Parama Purushartha, the greatest Purushartha. Moksha is known as the Parama Purushartha. It is the top priority of an individual, knowingly or unknowingly. Some are aware of it, some are not aware of it. What we want is freedom. Our greatest priority, our ultimate goal is freedom. All of us want freedom. All of us are seekers of freedom. When we seek something, we should also know how to specify what we seek. Specifications of what we seek. If you are seeking something and you don't know how to specify, you will end up getting the wrong thing. Someone wants a car and he doesn't know how to specify what kind of car he wants. He just says, I want a car. What car? He has his own criteria. It should be very small, compact, very compact. It should not consume much parking space. A compact car. He should be able to park in a small space. And it should not consume much fuel. Running cost should be minimum. And it should not demand much maintenance. Even the maintenance cost should be minimum. And it should not make noise. It should not cause pollution. All these are his specifications. and hearing his specifications, someone bought a toy car. This toy car fulfills all his specifications. He doesn't know how to specify properly. Ended up getting a toy car. Therefore, we should be clear regarding what we are seeking. What kind of freedom do we want? What kind of freedom are we looking for? We can seek two types of freedom. The first type of freedom, freedom to pursue our desires. The first type of freedom is the freedom to pursue our desires. That is what most of the people say. I should have the freedom to pursue my desires. I should have the freedom to do what I like, and I should have the freedom of not doing what I dislike. Freedom to pursue my likes and dislikes. This is a popular variety of freedom. Prima facie, it looks nice. I should have the freedom to dress as I like. I should have the freedom to eat what I like. I should have the freedom to speak what I like, the way I like, and I should have the freedom to do what I like. The vast majority of people are pursuing this freedom because it is very attractive. It looks so nice. And the Upanishad calls it preyaha. It is preyaha. Preyaha means it is superficially attractive. As long as one does not analyze, as long as one does not inquire, it is attractive. But if we start inquiring, if we start analyzing, we find how disastrous it is. When I want the freedom to do what I like, when I want the freedom to pursue what I like, it means I cherish my desires. I entertain my likes and dislikes. I entertain my desires. in the process of entertaining my desires, in the process of cherishing my desires, I become a slave of my desires. Therefore, pursuing the freedom, I end up being a slave. Pursuing the freedom, I end up losing all freedom. I get caught up in the snares of desires. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna refers to desires as one's greatest enemy. Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidyenamiha vairinam. Vidyenamiha vairinam. It is a vairi. Desire, kama, is a vairi, an enemy. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet tauhyasya paripanthinau. Tauhyasya paripanthinau. More than once, at least 3 times, Krishna refers to desire as one's enemy. Tauhyasya paripanthinau. Jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. At least 3 times. While answering Arjuna's question, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Why a human being ends up doing papa? What makes a human being end up compromising with the values, compromising with the dharma? Arjuna asked this question in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. And then Bhagavan says, it is kama, it is desire, kama eshaha, which makes an individual forego dharma, violate dharma. Therefore, desires are an enemy. Therefore, the freedom to pursue one's desire is not healthy in nature. It leads us diagonally opposite. Instead of getting freedom, one gets caught up in samsara. The pursuit of freedom culminates in bondage. The desires cannot keep us happy in this life. The desires are binding in this very life. As we pursue the desires, we are bound. The desires make us struggle. Kama gives rise to karma. You keep pursuing one desire after another desire restlessly. Entangles in a series of struggles. Therefore, the desire doesn't allow one to be happy in this life. Bhartrahari says, Satu bhavati daridro yasya trishna vishala. One who has more desires, he is a poor man. According to Bhartrahari, poverty is not the amount of money that you have. The amount of money does not determine poverty. What determines poverty? It is the number of desires. One who has more desires, one who has more number of unfulfilled desires is a poor man. Despite having plenty of money, he will be complaining. I don't have this, I don't have that, and so on and so on. Therefore, the desires don't allow us to be happy in this life. Likewise, they cannot allow us to be happy in the next life also. They bind us even in the next life. The desires keep chasing a person even to the next life. Mundakopanishad says, Kamanyah kamayate manyamanaha sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra. One who entertains his desires, he will be reborn in another janma with the same group of desires, same set of desires. He is reborn. Sakamabhirjayate tatra tatra. Therefore, the first type of freedom, freedom to pursue one's desires, does not lead one to freedom. Instead, it leads to bondage. Therefore, freedom to pursue one's desires, freedom to cherish one's desires, freedom to feed one's desires cannot be the true freedom, cannot be the real freedom. Then what is the real freedom? I think the topic of today's talk is real freedom, discovering the real freedom, right? What is the real freedom? The real freedom is freedom from desires themselves. The real moksha, the real meaning of moksha is to be free from desires themselves. That is why the Upanishads call a mukta, a jnani, paryaptakamaha. He is paryaptaka, free from all desires. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. Prajahati yada kama, one who is free from all desires. He is a truly free person. And that is the true meaning of moksha. and it is called Shreyaha. According to Kathopanishad, a wise man chooses this type of freedom. Freedom from desires. And not the first type of freedom. Freedom to pursue one's desires. How to be free from desires? Freedom from desires is the characteristic of moksha. Moksha is freedom from all desires. Bhagavad Gita is clear about it. Upanishad are clear about it. How to be free from desires? To understand this, we should know the mechanism of desires. What causes desire? It is the sense of incompleteness. When I think I am incomplete, I have a sense of incompleteness. That is what we all experience. I am lacking in this. I am lacking in that. Lacking. The sense of lacking is a sense of incompleteness. The sense of incompleteness generates the desire to be complete. We seek completeness. I am incomplete. I am lacking. I have to be complete. Seeking completeness is what we call desire. Desire is nothing but seeking completeness. Therefore, as long as there is a sense of incompleteness, we have desires. We seek completeness. Therefore, to be free from desires, we have to find completeness. That is the only way to be free from desires. Finding completeness. Attaining completeness. There is no other way to be free from desires. One can try all other alternative methods. They can only stop the desire for a while. It cannot put a permanent end to desires without finding completeness. Therefore, to be free from desires, one has to find completeness. Now, where should I find completeness? We have two options. Either I can seek it inside or I can seek it outside. I can seek complete within myself or I can seek completeness outside myself. Most often, people seek it outside because our senses and mind are oriented towards outside. Paranchikhani vyatranat swayambhuhu. The mind and senses are oriented towards the outside world. They open towards the external world. Therefore, by nature, I seek completeness outside myself. But unfortunately, anything outside me cannot give me completeness. Anything external to me cannot make me complete because it is not me. The simple reason why an external object cannot make me complete, it is not me. Anything other than me cannot give me completeness. It cannot make me complete. Any amount of decoration or any amount of ornament on a donkey will not make it a horse or anything. It will remain a donkey. You can try painting it. You can try putting various ornaments, various decorations, yet it remains a donkey. Similarly, any amount of external add-ons will not add anything to me. It will not add anything to my completeness. Therefore, seeking completeness outside is a waste of time and effort. Therefore, I have only one option left. I have to seek it within. I have to seek completeness within. It is the only way. Within means my own nature, my true self. That is where I have to seek completeness. That is where I have to find completeness. Then the Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, they come to my help. They tell me, you are already complete. Your true nature, your true self is already complete. Ayamatma Brahma. This Atma, the self of yours, the nature of yours is Brahma. Brahma is complete. Brahma is Purna, infinite. The very word Brahma means infinite. And that is completeness. Therefore, completeness is your nature. You don't have to get it. If completeness is my nature, then why am I not aware of it? Why do I miss it? It is because of self-ignorance, Atma Ajnana. ignorance of my true self has veiled my completeness. That is why I seek it everywhere. Therefore, the solution is to discover my completeness, which is already my nature, by removing the self-ignorance. And that is Atma Jnana, self-knowledge, knowledge of one's true nature. Self-knowledge is the way to discover one's completeness, and thereby to discover the true freedom, discover the real freedom, which is called moksha. Therefore, finding the real freedom is possible only through Atma Jnana, only through self-knowledge. There is no other means. Any other means is not possible. It is the only way to find one's true self. And when one finds one's true self, one's completeness, he finds satisfaction within himself. He finds fulfillment within himself. Atmanyev Atmana Tushtaha. The man of self-knowledge is satisfied within himself. As long as there is ignorance, one is dependent on external sources of happiness and external means of happiness. You need both external source of happiness and external means of happiness. We can distinguish between the two: source of happiness and means of happiness. If I am seeking happiness from a sweet, say Rasgulla, Rasgulla is a source of happiness. But to get Rasgulla, to eat Rasgulla, I should have certain means. And the means are various types. There are external means as well as internal means. External means the money to buy Rasgulla and other things, or the equipments to cook Rasgulla. external means. Then internal means. My own tongue is an internal means. If I don't have tongue, any amount of rasgulla or any amount of gulab jamun is a waste without having a tongue. And I should have a good health. I should not be a sugar patient. So internal means. Despite having the source of happiness, I may be lacking in the means of happiness. The sweet is in front of me, but I don't have the means to enjoy it. Therefore, an ignorant one is dependent on external sources as well as external means of happiness. Whereas, once you discover yourself, you are free from the requirement, free from the dependence of both external source and external means of happiness. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. Atmani eva tushtaha means he is not dependent on the external source of happiness. Atma is his source of happiness. And atmana eva tushtaha, he is not dependent on the external means of happiness. Atma is his means of happiness. Implying he doesn't depend on any other source for his satisfaction. He doesn't depend on anything other than the self for his satisfaction, because he has discovered the completeness within himself. And then he is free from all desires. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. He is free from all desires that are present in the mind. That is the true freedom, the real freedom. And how to find it? How to get Atma Jnana? One has to go to a guru. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva bhigachet. Approach a guru with the proper attitude, with the shraddha, with the bhakti, and listen to upadesha. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. One has to approach a guru and pursue the Atma Jnana. Pursue the Adhyatma Vidya. But then to pursue the Adhyatma Vidya, one should have some readiness. One should be prepared. Otherwise, the knowledge does not take place in the mind. How to prepare oneself for Atma Vidya? To prepare oneself for Atma Vidya, first of all, one should eschew the first type of freedom. Again, we are coming to the two types of freedom. I want to have freedom to pursue all my likes and dislikes. If this is my attitude, I cannot get ready. I cannot qualify for Atmatya. If I give a free rein to my desires, if I pursue my likes and dislikes without any discipline, without any restraint, I will never qualify for Atmadya. Therefore, Bhagavan says one has to restrain one's likes and dislikes. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadvesho vyavasthitau. Our natural tendency is to pursue the likes and dislikes. Ragadvesha. Tayorna vashamagachet. Do not be a slave of your ragadvesha. Do not be a slave of your likes and dislikes. Most often, our likes and dislikes determine our actions. Our actions are solely decided by what we like and what we dislike. But then Krishna says, do not allow your likes and dislikes to determine your actions. Instead, let the understanding of the dharma, understanding of the right and wrong, determine your actions. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya karya vyavasthitau. Jnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartumiharhasi. The Shastras, the Veda, the Shruti and Smriti, they have laid down certain values. What is right for an individual and what is not right for an individual. Karya and akarya, dharma and adharma, both are given by the Shastra. And Krishna says, let the right and wrong, dharma and adharma, let them determine your actions and not your likes and dislikes. Make your likes and dislikes subservient to the understanding of right and wrong. Make your likes and dislikes subservient to the values of dharma, the values of righteousness. Therefore, to accomplish the real freedom, one has to be ready to forego, one has to be ready to give up the first type of freedom. Freedom to pursue one's desires. When you sacrifice the freedom to pursue your desires, you culminate in freedom from desires themselves, which is the true freedom, the real freedom. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.